Yeah, we're fine. We're just looking at the ship.
Oh, right, okay.
It's all right. We're heading over now.
The day's quickly completed sailing gave racers and crew a chance to visit the nearby marble quarries and workshops that make Romblon famous the world over.
We try to do this when we can. So what happened was a lot of the competitors and staff went off in jeepneys to a marble factory where they were carving marble and saw how they converted a very large square block into such much beautiful large and small things. So that was very interesting.
The tour of Romblon town also took the sailing sightseers to the Spanish fort overlooking the hills above Romblon, which used to be plagued with marauding pirate attacks. Other members of the race crew in charge of the Philippine Hobie Foundation's newly created outreach program took the spare time to visit a school in an isolated barangay in northern Tablas to distribute donated school supplies, part of 5 outreach donations over the course of this year's challenge. The excitement was overpowering as the town, which is unreachable except by sea, was given much needed school supplies that helped take the strain off a tight budget, already stretched thin by the schoolhouse and other buildings damaged by recent typhoons.
The important feature of this outreach program is that we are trying to help the area that we're in, particularly the elementary schools in that area. We've targeted this area, and because we've had such generous sponsors in some other areas, some of our money has been able to be diverted to this program. We're hoping now to expand that program. This is a very simple start, and what we did was for some very small elementary schools, we ended up giving them balak-bayan boxes of equipment and things that they would need. And that's the start of that. So really, as I said, the change in the whole way the approach of the event is, it's still the extreme event. It's still going to the beautiful places, but we're trying to put something into the community rather than just passing through and waving at them.
We've been thinking about it for quite a while now because and thinking about what can we leave these communities other than remembrance of the boats coming in and a spectacle and something they've never seen.
We believe that helping people is not necessarily giving them money, but giving them the tools for learning, and that's really our thrust, is providing school materials and lights for barrios and barangays, little towns that don't have any money, that can't afford to have their kids study at night. So that was another good thing that we're aiming for, and we started on that.
Well, there was teacher's package, which is important. Had glue gun and calculator and a globe. A globe, but it's a globe. And then
Temperature.
Yeah, a thermometer.
A thermometer.
Things that the teachers might need or want to explain or use. And then there was the kids package, which is like everything from magnifying glass, scissors, papers with adhesive backing, modeling clay, pentel pens, paints, all kinds of stuff. And a basketball, which made their eyes bright.
Hey, they really like that.
They were like bright-eyed and running out, chasing after us, they gave us a dance and all that stuff. And the teachers never stopped saying thank you, 1,000 thank yous, and they're still at it, and which we really appreciate, of course. We're like, super welcome. Talk to Jerry, he did it.
The outreach program was something that came to us when we were on the ocular inspection. We were drifting down, looking at islands in the Tablas Romblon area, and we looked for somewhere to stay the night as it was getting dark. We saw a fishing village, which looked quite nice, so we went in, and they greeted us. They were very friendly. They invited us to stay ashore. We were expecting to camp, but they invited us to stay ashore, and we went to the headman's house. They had no electricity. We asked for no electricity. So we have a generator, but we can't afford the fuel. Okay, so we said, well, here's the money. We'll pay for the fuel. So we had power. And the first thing that happened was there weren't very many houses in the village that had electricity, but everybody appeared. The whole village appeared. They had cell phone coverage, so everybody came up with their cell phones to charge them. Very rare occurrence. videos started playing, and people came in to watch videos. There were 3 or 4 different ones playing. It was their source. It was a fiesta for them. So that was very exciting, and it made us start thinking about electricity and the problems these out-of-the-way villages have. The next thing was we actually stayed in the house of the school teacher. And we thought, well, we'd like to help this school teacher, you know, what are your problems? So the first thing she said, well, I haven't got a blackboard. I mean, a school without a blackboard, we thought, this is ridiculous. So that started us thinking, well, we must do something. So that was how we introduced or got around to the idea of this outreach program, thinking elementary schools in these isolated villages that can't get this stuff and can't afford it. For us to spend a relatively small amount of money giving them something that is absolutely invaluable, and for the children was a good way to go.
Shoot that ball. Get that ball. Cheer for your school colors. Don't miss the Phil Oil Flying V Preseason MVP Cup. Basketball action only here on Makisi, home of Philippine sports.
Hip, fun, fast, edgy. It's young, it's new, it's finally here in the country. V, Channel V Philippines.
Day 4 was a fairly straight shot down the Romblon Passage between Tablas and Romblon Islands. The second night was as good as the first in Bonbon Beach, and despite several hard-fought inshore races, sailors were relaxed and ready to move on to the next island. Before the sailors started for their 4th day of racing, however, Bruce Tardrew and Bob Nguerda, veterans of several Hobie Challenge victories as well as numerous other international races, held a morning workshop to share their experiences in tuning boats with other racers.
Myself and Bob and Nguerda, we did a workshop on tuning tips and how to rig the boat to make it go fast. And that was a great success in that the people on the water went so much faster as a result of that workshop. And we had to look over our shoulders all the time because they're getting closer. But before that, we didn't have to worry because they were a long way back. So it was a great success. And I know the guys who were at well, I think everyone went to it, but they acknowledged that it has really improved their sailing because the boat's now set up right and they've got a clue on a few things that they didn't know about before.
People are very happy about the way that the event is run and how the people in the event and running the event are very, very friendly, very willing to help, and they're happy that the other competitors seem to get that same attitude, and everybody's willing to help everybody else. Everybody helps each other on the beach, on the boats, giving each other tips. You learn a hell of a lot from, you know, if you're a Hobie sailor, you really learn a lot by racing in the challenge because you've got so many people who are such good sports and who are, you know, at the top of the league, and they just sit around their boats and they'll talk all day about what, you know, how they make their boat go fast. So if you want to learn to race a Hobie faster, this is a great place to come.
I'm looking forward to coming back. And I'd like to see the Hobie community develop more with the children and the medicine and the education. And I'd like to see Bruce and Bob and Nguerda and some of the other skippers do more clinics with the Filipino sailors so that they can improve. And which means that then the following year we can come back and we can see how we've helped the fleet here in the Philippines and watch them grow as sailors, and that's what I get the most enjoyment out of, seeing people improve. Yeah.
As the racers finished the 4th day that brought them to Kabilaan, Tablas, Australians dominated the top 3 positions. Choosing course routes, logistics, and safety have always been the primary concerns of the Hobie Challenge crew. Moving participants and crew's gear became easier as the years went by, and the 10th Hobie Challenge seems to have been the best yet.
In the past, we've always used large bankers for transporting all our cargo and so on. And the main reason for that is because they can run up on the beaches very easily. Because we were able this time to change the principle of carrying everything with us, we didn't need the bankers to run up on the beach. So we were able to borrow a very nice 90-foot Taiwanese fishing vessel called Novena from Sandy Sandoval, and we used that as our mothership. So every day, everything, all the luggage, the tentage and so on, was loaded onto that boat and off again, and any of the food and drink that we did take with us was on that boat.
Another addition to this year's challenge was the rally fleet, which involved larger keeled boats non-competitively following the same route as the Hobies.
Now the rally fleet is basically people that we've invited this year to join us. They're all ex-Hobie sailors who have now got a little bit older and gone into and bought larger boats. So it gave them a chance to still be involved in the challenge. A lot of them had done it before in Hobies, and now they've done them in keel boats. And what the rally was they just came along with us. But not only did they come along with us, they have on their boats tall masts and big radios. So they were able to provide for us communications. In our little boats, in our Hobies, we have very small handheld radios with a range of about 3 miles. The keel boats have tall masts, big radios with a range of up to 15 miles. The next thing we had, which is a great innovation, was the spot communicators. Now, these spot communicators are very small, cell phone size almost, units that each boat had issued to them. What they did was feed information to us via the internet, via satellites, as to exact location of every boat all the time. So we knew where everybody was. Again, this enabled us to reduce our costs because we didn't need so many safety boats because we knew where everybody was.
Another safety factor that was very good, we had Spot. Spot was it was a new thing for us, and it was nice to be able to have a device where people all over the world could follow each and every boat if they wanted to on their computer screen on Google. That was pretty cool, and of course it led a tremendous amount of safety to the event.
Day 5 saw probably the biggest contrast in the surrounding environs as sailors traded southern Tablas's tents for the luxury villas and neon lights of Boracay. Morning in Kabilaan Tablas found weak winds blowing over a very relaxed campsite, delaying the start by several hours. After a 2-hour delay, it looked like a tow was inevitable, never a welcome reality for sailors.
So then I was going to tow them until we got to some wind, but in fact there was actually none here at all. I'm now on the water and I've got 7 knots.
However, wind conditions picked up slightly and the race began right offshore of Tablas Island.
We race from here, no towing. No towing, we race from here.
And we're going down to Crystal.
Crystal, cross number 3, yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
6, 2, 6! 6, 2, 6!
Perhaps the waiting had gotten a few sailors a bit eager to get on the water, as the team of Michael Ngu and Hans Waldring were called on a false start and had to go back through the gates. Getting through the gates, they quickly ran into trouble again and keeled over to the side. Their capsize only lasted less than a minute, however, and they soon sped up to join the rest of the pack. With the boats and sailors ready for the last 20-mile push, the wind picked up, and sailors would pull into Boracay under their own power. After a fast reach to the last marker buoy of the course by Laurel Island off of Cataclan, the Hobies powered around Boracay's north side to drop into Diniwid Cove.